안녕하세요 여러분. 인도코리아입니다. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so in today's video, you and I, me and you, we will together discuss some cultural similarities between India and South Korea. I know, right? Sounds interesting. I mean, there are quite a few that I came across, and I'm going to be not really explaining, but listing them out in this. Oh my god, that was such a big. Anyways, I will be listing them out in this video. Let me know if there are more that you have come across, and if you are from any other country apart from India, let me know what your country has in common with South Korea in terms of culture. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. First and foremost, relationship with family. Every country has a relationship with their family. That's right, but India and Korea have a similar way of showing it. For example, in Western countries, it's more, it's like really common to move out after you turn 18, like move out from your parents' house and then have a house of your own, live with your friends or whatever. But in India and South Korea both, parents don't kick their children out, or it's not a really compulsion that you have to leave your house, parents' house, when you turn a particular age. You can live there as long as you want, and actually in India up until you get married. So yeah, that's the first common thing that I noticed in both the countries' culture. Second point is focus on studying. So I think this is another huge similarity. In India, your parents are gonna be like, hey, you have to study, and you have to become a doctor, engineer, lawyer. You have to do that. It's like a compulsion. And in South Korea also, parents really emphasize on their children getting straight A's, amazing grades, doing great in extracurriculars, and picking up professions which are like doctors, engineers, lawyers, and like really high profile professions. Like, I'm not saying other professions are not good, but yeah, that's how our parents kind of think. But again, this is not really a one size fits all kind of opinion, because my parents actually did not really emphasize on becoming a doctor or engineer. They were like, do whatever you want, but be good at it. And I I think obviously there might be these kind of parents in South Korea as well, but I'm talking like in general. I'm kind of generalizing here and speaking. So yeah, that's the second point. Now third point is not actually I don't know if it can be called a cultural similarity or not, but both India and South Korea celebrate their freedom on the same day, 15th August. So India calls it their Independence Day, and South Korea calls it their Liberation Day. So it's when India got freedom from UK and South Korea got freedom from Japan. So what a coincidence, right? 15th August, both the countries celebrate their independence. Next one is something I noticed only because I was applying for jobs in South Korea, and I was also trying to apply for jobs in other countries. So what I noticed is there are some countries like UK, Ireland, USA, they don't really, it's not even about preference. They do not want you to put your photo in your resume or your CV, because it is a really strict law there. Like, I think it's called anti-discrimination law, and you cannot hire people based on like how they look or all that. So they really think it's best to not ask for photos, because then people might think they were rejected because they are a certain color or whatsoever. So I don't know the exact details of it, but yeah, there are countries who make it a compulsion to not put your photo in the resume. But South Korea and India both are countries where you have to put your photo in your resume. It's one of the mandatory aspects. Okay, so next up we have male dominated society, a patriarchal society. Now, this again could be a very controversial, or to each his own kind of opinion, but I do believe that India, though, definitely, I'm guaranteeing and saying it, that it is a male dominated society. And South Korea, as far as I see in the K dramas, it does actually feel like it's a male dominated society. So of course that does not mean that each and every person is of that thoughts, but again, I'm generalizing the countries as a whole. So that's another similarity. In India, for example, if you're a female driver, you're gonna get some looks. And in Korea, as far as I've seen, I think females do have a little bit of, they face a little bit of problem in their workplace. Like their male employees would like not take them seriously, or not really treat them or respect them, or not want to listen to them, like orders from them. So a lot of those things. And I think that both the countries, are inculcated with those kind of thoughts ever since they are little. So yeah, that's another thing that I noticed, that both the countries are quite male dominated. Next up we have food. So now I can't really say that the food is exactly similar, but what I would say is that certain things, like certain staples in the food, are kind of similar, like say kimchi and achar. Another thing would be rice. Rice is a staple in a lot of parts of India, especially the south, and rice is a staple dish in South Korea as well. Another thing I noticed is both countries, people love spicy food, though I am not a fan of spicy food, but yeah, there are a lot of Indians who love spicy, and Indian cuisine has a lot of tasty, delicious spicy dishes. The one thing that I've noticed is South Korean spices and Indian spices are quite different. South Korean spices are a little I don't know how to explain it. I mean, you will realize if you have both the cuisines together, you will realize that both are spicy but in a different way. It's really hard to explain, but yeah. Next is removing your footwear outside the house and then entering the house. Now this was the first thing I noticed in K dramas, that oh my god, we do this too. So in India, you cannot really wear your footwear inside the house. Actually, in India, people walk barefoot inside their house, whereas in Korea, I believe they switch their footwear from outside to the home footwear, home slippers at the door, and then enter the house. So that's one common factor in both the countries. I don't know what the reason of South Koreans to do this is, but I'm assuming it's similar as India, because Indians think that it's not really hygienic to bring your outside footwear inside. And also Indians have not really cultural thing, but they do sit on the floor at times to eat, or just hang out sitting on the floor. It's a thing. So I believe that's another reason why Indians wouldn't wear footwear inside, because you don't really want to sit on the floor where you walked with your footwear, right? So I think that must be a reason in South Korea as well, because I do believe that South Koreans also sit down a lot, like on the floor. So I'm just guessing, but yeah, that's one thing that's common, that they do not wear outside footwear inside. Second last point, wedding money. So I realized this recently when I saw a reel on this, that South Koreans also gift the bride and the groom some money, like in an envelope, at their wedding, and it's not really a good gesture to not give it. So yeah, that's something that happens in India as well. Well, you can give gifts in weddings too, but generally people give an envelope of money to play safe. Like, you don't know what the bride or groom might want or like, so it's best to give some cash. So people give money in India as well. So that's another common cultural similarity. Last but not the least is the showbiz. Now that's the entertainment industry. So I feel like both the countries follow a similar kind of, how to say this, not exactly storyline, but the whole vibe or the outline, like the extreme cliche stuff, the over dramatic things. I think the only thing K dramas or K movies is missing are like 4-minute songs every 30 minutes of the movie, which is like a thing in Bollywood. Like I think like 1 hour total of the 2 or 3 hour film must be just songs in Bollywood. But anyways, that's the only thing that's missing there. But otherwise, if you compare the action scenes, the kind of what do you call, kind of evil parents, there are the storylines are kind of similar, and the PG-13 factor as well. Like personally, if you watch American, like for me at least, when I watch American sitcoms, I can be like, I can spot the difference. I can be like, yeah, this is really different from Bollywood. But then when I watch K dramas or K movies, I feel like, so yeah, that's about it for this video. Let me know if y'all have anything to add to these similarities, and I'll see y'all pretty soon. Annyeong.